Senate Bill 152 and its companion, House Bill 1250, both seek to raise the age from 18 to 21 in South Dakota.
This is a day people in this neighborhood say they will never forget. Those shootings led to an investigation that brought them to this house behind me. I was out here on Friday night with volunteers who were hanging items. By the time I came back on Saturday morning, dozens of items were already gone.
This little device is working to let you know if somebody else has gotten into your prescription bottle.
Even a pop like this can be scary for some vets. 11th between Main and Phillips, as well as 12th between Main and Phillips, were shut down for about the past hour.
There are several locations across Sioux Falls where you can drop off items, like this one at the downtown Sioux Falls Library. They'll take scarves, hats, earmuffs, gloves, mittens, and even socks.
Pheasant Fest is going on all weekend. The doors are open tonight until 8 o'clock. If you buy your tickets in advance, they're just $5. And Valeska wants to see you here, so you should definitely come out this weekend.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Erika Leigh. It may be hard to imagine, but there are countries in the world where women aren't allowed to drive. Sioux Falls police have updated us about an armed robbery that happened tonight at the Frying Pan restaurant on 41st Street. A man walked in with a handgun just before 7 tonight, demanded cash, and ran off westbound on 41st. A familiar Sioux Falls face is going to be filling a seat in the State House of Representatives. Several second graders in Sioux Falls get to read to a very special visitor each week, and it's all to strengthen their reading skills. Xcel Energy Regional Vice President Laura McCartan says that South Dakota will account for 10% of Xcel Energy's total wind energy portfolio. The president addressed what he sees as the most pressing global concerns, including North Korea, Iran, and ISIS. It successfully tested its most powerful and most provocative nuclear weapon yet. Today we head to a business that is expanding, adding a wall art business on the side. KSFY News' Cami Raisler takes us to this local shop tonight and also shares something special it's doing for the Garth concert coming up this weekend. A South Dakota State football standout received quite an honor today. Thor is here. Tell us all about it.
Surprise too for Jake Winnick. We've talked about him on the football field, everything he's done.
In a 5-4 decision, the City Council increased the vote threshold from a 34% plurality to a 51% majority. A health alert here on KSFY. Researchers say they've created a blood test that allows them to identify Alzheimer's patients.
Let's get to some other stuff here this morning.
Okay, I don't like that forecast at all, so
it's
sounds good to me.
Not cool.
So speaking of some other stuff,
there's more to law enforcement than writing tickets, and you're also supposed to take care of people in the community you live in as well.
If you went by Walmart in Brookings on Wednesday night, you might have been a bit concerned about the strong police presence.
We're not the negative entity where we're always out trying to arrest people or find problems. We are here to help the community as well, and we do know, if anybody knows the areas in the community that need help, law enforcement does.
The Brookings Police Department, along with several other law enforcement agencies,
Brookings County Sheriff's Office, Highway Patrol, correctional officers from the detention center, like Game Fish and Parks might come. University Police Department, we got reserve officers.
All came together to go shopping with some families who need a little extra help this holiday season.
We've been raising money for families that need help over Christmas.
Yep, that's a nice one.
Is that the one you want? Every year we give a family $250 to go shopping with, a grocery cart full of food to take home for a Christmas meal. We also give them a bunch of certificates for like Pizza Hut and for the movie theater in town too, so they can spend some time together that way as a family.
Do you want these wrapped by themselves?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
More to open, right?
The event actually started 17 years ago.
With just 7 children. We were excited about that. And the program has grown now to this year having 30 children.
Police who participate say it's an opportunity they don't get every day.
It's a fun event, but it's also a very emotional event because you got these little kids that they're more concerned about getting stuff for other people than they are for themselves. So it's a very, very heartwarming event. I've had officers that have left here and they're just in awe, like, wow. I'm glad I came to this.
Many police departments host similar events for kids throughout the country this time of the year. But the Brookings police say it's important for their whole family to be involved.
It's not just a parent and the child, it's the whole family. It helps create that bond. It shows the other side of law enforcement, especially with the little kids. Sometimes they're kind of raised to kind of be scared of us sometimes. And this shows them a different side when Santa's here and we're hanging out and eating with them. And there ends up being a lot of tears and hugging at the end of the night.
In Brookings.
We got the big one.
Erika Leigh, KSFY News.
A local hospice that called us about 5 o'clock in the morning wanted to know why we hadn't come up and picked up somebody who had passed away. And the deal was they had never called us. They called Heritage Cremation Society.
Multiple funeral homes say this has happened because the service is identifying itself as Heritage Funeral Home in Sioux Falls. Heritage Funeral Home has sent the online company a cease and desist notice.
We don't have a problem with them if they want to use the name as far as Heritage Cremation Society. But when they started telling people they were us, or we were them, that's when we filed a lawsuit against them.
In fact, I called the business. The person who answered the phone said they were busy and asked where we needed services. When I missed their return call, this was the voicemail they left.
Hello, Erica. This is AJ calling. I am calling back on behalf of the Heritage Funeral Home. Please give me a call back at your earliest convenience.
So I called AJ back and asked why he identified himself as Heritage Funeral Home.
Our legal name is Heritage Cremation Provider.
Right.
Okay. We are a licensed funeral home, so occasionally we do say Heritage Funeral Home. That is correct.
Where are you licensed?
Nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong. Where the company actually is not licensed at this time.
But you just said that you were a licensed funeral home.
No, we used to be.
Sioux Falls funeral directors say they've caught on and are refusing to do business with Heritage Cremation Provider, saying the business is an unlicensed middleman.
So the next time they would call us, they would claim to have a different name so that we couldn't make the connection. And so it's not only, like I say, are they misleading families, they're misleading us.
They say it's created a major headache for both the families dealing with a loss and for their businesses, which have built up reputations over the years.
We know what promises we can make to a family and keep, but we don't know what someone else has told them. So that can be very troubling.
It's a day to honor those who've served.
Well, World War II, a lot of people don't know, was two different theaters. We fought in Europe against Italy and Germany, and then we fought in the South Pacific against the Japanese. And that's where my tour of duty was.
Well, I served from 1968 to 1971, Vietnam from 69 to 70. I was combat wounded in August of 1969, and I loved what I did over there, except for it wasn't a pleasant place to be.
Today's ceremony.
This is a reminder. You know, I come out every year if I can. It's great.
While this day is special for each of them, they say veterans still have an ongoing mission.
I think it ought to be special to everybody, and they're going to have to start teaching this in schools again.
The kids in school hardly know anything about World War II anymore.
These veterans say the wars they fought are disappearing from history books. And now it's their job to make sure kids know why there were wars fought for the freedoms we enjoy today.
I know some military units go to schools and give little talks.
Sampson takes every opportunity to do just that.
We go into school and flag etiquette, and we teach them a little about World War II or Vietnam if you're a Vietnam veteran. And we got to keep the history going.
That passion to share, to preserve their history. Something that's changed for many veterans over the years.
For 35 years, I didn't talk about my service in Vietnam at all. And in about 2005, I noticed that people were starting to honor Vietnam veterans again. And people that knew me for decades never knew that I served. And now I'm proud to say that I did.
These veterans are all proud of their service. Something they need those kids to know too.
I think sometimes they may not know it at the time, but they'll grow up and serve. I know they will. America is still the greatest country.
In Sioux Falls, Erika Leigh, KSFY News.